Hi folks, how are you doing and welcome to my channel. Today at the time of filming is the 31st of January 2024 and this I think is video number 3 in a new series, a new playlist that I'm doing where I'm looking at ancient mysteries, ancient places. And today's video was going to be on the Shroud of Turin, but that changed yesterday when I did a session with a client and we got into talking about Stonehenge. And I shared the fact that I'd been there, and I was fascinated with the fact that when you look at the stones, they have faces in them. And you can say, oh well, they may have been carved. Didn't feel like that to me. They actually had faces. Not just that, even faces that you can see they haven't been carved. You can see that it's just a face looking at you. And it just fascinated me. And I was telling her this, and then all of a sudden this download came in, and it was that each one of the stones that made up Stonehenge was actually an ancient god that was turned into stone to form this formation of rocks that would have a huge impact on humanity, on society, on the world, not just England, the United Kingdom, but the world. And I was like, I need to share this. So I asked permission, I got permission to share it. And it just fascinated me. And then the more that I thought about it as the day went on yesterday, the more that it made me see the stones in a totally different light. I've often said in the past when I briefly looked at Stonehenge that I feel that one day something will happen at Stonehenge, something will get switched back on. That I feel at the time when I went in 2021, it was a strange old time in the UK. It was just after the pandemic and it was an absolutely blisteringly hot day. And I don't know, it just felt like when I got there was a lot of people there. There was a lot of people there and they weren't getting it. They just weren't getting it. And I felt that, and it disrupted the energy. And I did say at the time when I came back, I felt that the energy had been disrupted there. That actually, for all that it is a powerful place, the power it's not that it's lost the power or the full capacity of the power is dimmed down. And as I'm saying that, I'm getting that because actually if it was to come fully back on grid again, it would be too much for people. And I'm not comparing it to a mast, but it's almost like, especially for those that live around it, I'm also getting as well, that's why many people that do live close to it can actually struggle because the energies are still there. Interesting. So I was like, we need to change the videos around a bit and bring Stonehenge in. And let's see where we go. So I've got 2 decks. Keepers of the Light by Kyle Gray, and this brand new deck which is called Witch and Sister Julia Jeffrey. So this is actually the first time I've fully done a video that is fully dedicated to Stonehenge, even though I briefly touched on it in different videos. So let's have a look at what we are connected is. As I'm looking at this, I'm transfixed on this deck, and what I'm also feeling is it's a place that's had much light magic done there, but it's also a place where there's been dark, and I'm tuning into a group of witches, and these ain't just wise women that were labelled witches. These are witches, and these witches, they did something to Stonehenge. The power of Stonehenge, maybe spell work, not sure which generation, although I'm tempted to say it feels like it could be. I'm seeing them as ancient, but I'm also seeing them in like the 1700s, would it be the 17th century, like 17 whatever, 1720, 30. And they keep being pulled back there, lifetime after lifetime. These witches, strangely, it's not strange actually, I feel as though they did something in ancient times that messed up the balance, or they were part of something. And these witches keep trying to come back incarnation after incarnation after incarnation to heal something, and it feels like maybe it's an obsession, and in some cases they feel like they're totally protective of it without realising why, and they're trying to go in back in order to heal something or release something from there. But it wasn't just female witches that were there, it was there were males involved as well. Let's see what else wants to come in. I'm also getting that many people forgot or didn't understand how to deal with magic properly, that it can be too powerful for some people, that it can close people down, it can open up people too much. And a lot of these sacred sites, so Stonehenge, Tor, pyramids, there's hundreds of them, and even ones that aren't really the main go-to ones, a lot of the energy in those places has been turned down because the effect that it, as humans have got more modern, the magic in these places has actually diminished. It's not gone, it's just been turned down. It's a bit like a radio. The sound is always there, we just turn the sound down to stop it interfering with us. But as humans start to come back on grid, it feels that this energy will start to come back on grid with us. What else am I sensing from it? There is something with the sheep there. It's just surrounding. You can say, yeah, well, the sheep, there's fields, they're farmers, but there's some, when you're there, I know that day that I was there, that there were sheep like I've never seen sheep. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if you went to someone and said, oh, the sheep over there, they look really intense, and somebody went, what sheep? Because they just looked like sheep that you've never seen before. And even my husband, that for although he's now a believer, was a skeptic. He zoned in on the idea that these sheep could be past druids, seers, mystics, shamans, whatever, warlocks, whatever, that were there that have come back to watch over it. That there's something within these sheep, souls that can come right back and reincarnate as sheep, or that can shapeshift into sheep, or that can connect to sheep to look after the stones, to watch over the stones. So let's take it back to where it first began. So taking me back to where it first began, Stonehenge. These gods that I'm seeing, they're not famous gods neither. They're not gods that we know the name to. I'm hearing they're shielded gods, and they've been all over the world. And part of their job was to visit between them all, they've visited everywhere. And some of these stones have gone now to other places. I'm also tuning into somebody that became aware of this magic, that maybe wanted to take the stones. So there's people that have been trying to either take the stones or chip the stones. And they went to all these different countries to absorb the energy, because Stonehenge, I feel, was meant to be one of the main portals in the world. I'm also now being directed to the greed of fellow humans, and that's contaminated it, because everybody wanted to own it, to have ownership of it. I'm also being showed people that played with the energy there, and so in some of these cases I'm seeing also children from, I don't know, I'm thinking 1940s, 50s, but through the ages, children that have heard the stories and gone and played witches and wizards and haven't understood the hugeness of it. And the fact that it's like when you're doing a reading or a channeling, you know, there's certain rules you've got to abide by. You can't have drink, you can't be under the influence, don't be stressed, don't be ill, etc, etc, etc. You know, work with your guides for your protection. Even if you're going to be working with a light client in a light setting, if you're not fully protected or understand what you're doing, you can start opening yourself up to stuff. So there's that energy there as well. I'm also seeing that the grid lines under the stones, have been damaged and feel like I want to say they're ill, they're poorly. I will look at this new motorway thing that keeps hitting the news. What else am I saying? Each generation of seer, mystic, clairvoyant, healer comes back and tries to bring it back. And there's guardians. Each generation has also brought guardians forth. So for all that, in the time that I went, and I think it's still the same, it was owned by, what's it called? It's not the National Trust, English Heritage. For although English Heritage own it, or manage it, or organise it, these watchers that keep coming back lifetime after lifetime are the real ones that not own it, but the guardians of it. I'm now being shown a huge ceremony that was carried out there thousands of years ago. And it became too powerful, the energy, there was too many people there. And all of these people had huge powers and they were pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. This is also a warning to us as well, when people push their spiritual journey and they push themselves too much. Even simple things like learning how to do readings or crystal work or Reiki, we can push ourselves too much. And I know we're not stood in the middle of in Stonehenge in an ancient ceremony, but we can push ourselves too much and open up too quickly, and it becomes too much for the physical body. And I'm seeing that, and something got out of control there. The energies got out of control there. And it opened some people up too fast. They opened up to darkness, because you can open up to both during a session. And then as these people went off to do their daily life, they shared this energy of brokenness that came from it wasn't the stones that caused it, it was the fact, it was naivety. And these situations keep repeating themselves. I'm being shown now cults, modern day cults, where it runs out of balance, it runs out of control, ego steps in. Because what I'm being shown is magic, enlightenment, spirituality, shamanism, Buddhism, whatever ism you want to call it. It's like a ball of magic, but it can also go bad. It can go bad. If it's placed in the wrong hands, it can become warped. And what I'm hearing is, for anyone that's a seer, whatever, is important to look after yourself. The best way that you can, to keep a check of yourself, to keep a check of your ego. And it's happening again now, where people that have the gift are not using it in the correct way, and it's warping them. It's almost like this beautiful energy that needs to be really nurtured. Also as well, another problem is many children have this energy, but their parents are meant to nurture the child, to nurture the energy, but they're not doing, and it's almost becoming fragmented. And that's why many people are struggling to do readings, struggling to walk their path, because it's not nurtured. So if you're on your path and you're thinking, I want to sharpen my clairvoyant skills, mediumship skills, tarot skills, whatever it is you want to sharpen, it starts with the simple thing. And it starts with looking after your body and looking after your mind, your body and your soul, and really getting the sleep. I know it's interesting, because my guide gave me a download this morning, and I asked him a question about something. It was to do with a session, or to do with something that I'm observing. And he said, the problem at the minute with many humans is they're in such turmoil and such pain that they're desperate for an answer. But when you say to them, actually the answer is within, it actually can flip them out, because it's like, no, it's not, I'm in pain, because they're so thing with the external that they don't realise the answers, and the healing is actually within you. You can pay for hundreds of sessions, shamanic healing sessions, Reiki healing sessions, mentoring sessions, psychotherapy sessions. You can visit every healing in the world, but if we're not willing to actually step within, it's literally like pouring water through a sieve. So if you're on your path to try and sharpen your skills, to look after yourself, to take it steady, because we can push ourselves way too much, and that can cause a counterbalance and unbalance us. I'm also getting that we think your spirituality, enlightenment is beautiful, and it is, but it can also lead you down avenues that are not for your highest of good, which is interesting. So am I allowed to, can I see the creation of Stonehenge? Can I see the land before the stones were there, please? I'm seeing a forest. It's all forest. And I'm seeing these really, I don't want to say cute because it's patronising, but I'm seeing these really cute little elementals that are doing things with the land. This space, Stonehenge, that space of land has always had something different to it. No one's ever been able to fully, like you couldn't set up home on there, it just, boom, you couldn't do it. You can live near it and holiday near it, but it can also draw, oh, that's interesting. It can also draw things out of you. You know, when I said to you, I've shared many a time in a video about my awakening, or one aspect of my awakening happened on honeymoon when we went on a cruise over the Atlantic. We did it in the Atlantis video. We stopped near Stonehenge. I think it was either a Travelodge or a Premier Inn, and we actually were going to call, but we didn't realise at the time yet till, you know, it was owned by National Heritage. But the day of the cruise, we had some time, and Gary was like, do you fancy going round the stones? And I obviously had not started my journey then, and I got the shivers. I remember looking at the stones and going, whoa. It was a weird, I was like, I was always been desperate to see Stonehenge, but it was like, whoa. It's because it was drawing something out, and that can happen in a healing session. That's why sometimes people can flip in healing, because the healer is drawing something out that they don't want to be drawn out, or they're going to have to look at, or it can be, I don't know, a deck of cards can do it, or a crystal, or a motivational video. You can hear somebody talking about something, it can, whoa, and it can bring something up. And actually that's what I'm sensing there. It brought something up within me, but it also brought up the advantage of awakening as well. So it's very active. Where was we? Where were we? Sorry, not was we. Where were we? We were in the woods, so it's the woods. Perhaps I'm going to hold this crystal instead. This reminded me, I know it's not a piece of Stonehenge, by the way, I'm not a robber, but yeah, you actually can't see the sparkle on that, can you? It does sparkle, but you can't see it, I don't think. Stone, crystal, brick is so great at holding energy and grounding. It's hugely powerful. When you work with the stone energies, it's hugely, hugely powerful. I've got a stone guide. Or when you see him, when you've got clients with trauma, and he literally picks the trauma up and he bangs his hands, and when you can see the trauma fragmenting, and then he transmutes it, it's fascinating, is stone. I'm working with stone people. So let's see it pre-Stonehenge. I'm seeing wise men, and I'm going to say wise men because that's what I'm tuning into their male. and they're starting to gravitate towards this land, and they're starting to cut the trees down. Different people have been called to this land through different times and different, even right up until present day, to start this off. So these druids, shamans, elders, ancients that I'm seeing are starting to clear the land. They've been given these downloads to start clearing the land, and each generation does their bit for it, and it's still going on today. And they're holding these circles. It feels really pure, and the trees are still around them, and they're putting intention into the ground. I'm also seeing Christ as well. I'm also seeing Christ. I'm seeing Christ, but as another incarnation. I'm seeing him as another incarnation. There's also this energy of it being passed. It's always getting passed into the wrong hands. But that's the thing with magic. The dark always wants a bit, because the dark thinks, what can I do with that? So the dark wants to latch on and will take it from the light. And that's teaching us as well too, because that's going on at the minute as well in a different way. Where many tests are coming in, and many people are wanting to take your light, to knock your light down, to patronise your light, to push your light, to push you out of your light. Because the answer was, many people were susceptible to being pushed out of their light by the dark, so the dark was able to come in and take it. The gods that went into these stones, it's, I want to say thousands of years ago, but thousands and thousands of years ago. I'm also getting as well that gods are not just Stonehenge, they're also gods are in rivers as well. And things like the pyramid, we'll look at the pyramids in a separate video. Gods can be trees. Oh, interesting. Now we're going to, what's it called? Don't be rude. Sycamore Gap. That was a god. We could do a Sycamore. I've done a Sycamore Gap video on here actually. But I can revisit now, and I've got that hunch. So, Sycamore Gap then, what was that all about? Let's go to Sycamore Gap. I think when I did that video, it's not part of this playlist, I did it after it got chopped down. And there was such an outpouring of pain from that for so many people. And I think I got at that time that it was meant to be, it wasn't meant to be here forever, that was a big part of its story. A bit like the death of like someone like Diana or JFK, where they die and it causes an outpouring of grief and pain and heart-opening moment. It was the same with Sycamore Gap, but the Sycamore Gap I'm feeling is a god. When the tree was taken down, the god went back to wherever the god came from. And I'm getting people that are now looking at the wood and the bark or whatever they do, because there's all kinds of things they're doing now to try and bring it back and preserve it. But I'm getting the odd person that's looking at it going, that's not the same. Anything that's planted there will not be the same, because it wasn't the tree, it was the god, it was the energy that was within the tree, that was residing within the tree. It was a healer. And I'm being shown that there are many of these spots. Some of them are famous, some of them are not known, and you may know one. It could be a tree in a certain park where you go to this place, this river, this stream, this sea, and you get something that you can't get from anywhere else in the world. You literally feel lit up, and that's what I'm feeling for Sycamore Gap. Coming back to Stonehenge. That's really not sad, but can make me quite tearful, that, because I'm seeing those ancient ones that started off clearing the forest. I'm seeing them now as modern day children coming back in modern clothes with modern parents in a modern world, and these children are starting to come back in, because it's going to be the children that bring it back. Can we see how it was made? How it was formed? It feels like it was formed when there wasn't many people about, because even back then, many people didn't like magic or believe in magic, and it would have scared them. I'm seeing a lot at this point. I am seeing a lot. I'm seeing it being built via the mainstream way. I'm seeing it being built by the mainstream way, where naked eye looks, and it's been built the mainstream way. Slavery, all of that, big cranes, what they would have done back then. But I'm also seeing something else. You know, which video was it? Was it the Bermuda Triangle, where I said sometimes things can be shielded to stop us seeing something that could freak us out or otherworldly? I'm also seeing that many people actually saw them using the traditional way to build the pyramids and the Stonehenge, but there was also the telepathic way as well. There was a mixture of things going on there. People finding a strength they never knew they had. Many of the people that built Stonehenge became quite ill afterwards with the energy. And it feels like some of them passed. Some of them also became incredibly psychic. And again, there's this same repeating pattern of not being able to handle it properly, not being able to deal with it, overwhelming them, ungrounding them. I want to say there's a river there, because I keep seeing water, and from what I remember, I can't remember seeing a river, but there's something to do with water, and it goes right under it. And I don't know if it's symbolism, but there's this river. There's a river. Or is it representation of what? Because now I'm being shown, you know, Haworth Parsonage graveyard. I've shared this story before on here. It's gruesome that they say that the water ran from the graveyard, from the moors, through the graveyard and into the water system. So that's what caused a lot of the problems in Victorian Haworth with the water system. The water was going through the dead bodies. So that's why lots of people became ill. But I'm seeing it differently. I'm seeing the water that goes under, because it could be pipes they've got under, or so, the water system, the water that we get from wherever our tap that runs from there. There's something with that water. That's random. I'm seeing Henry VIII there. Get out of it. No, I wouldn't mean that. I'm seeing Henry VIII there. Let's go with it then. What's Henry VIII doing there? He's really pulled to it. He's fascinated by it. He's been going somewhere and he's pulled off. He's made a detour to go there. And he's getting off his horse. And he's just walking round the stones. And he keeps touching each stone. When was this? When was this? I've got a timeline for it. $1526. 1526. So 1526. Because it feels like there is a female with him, but it doesn't feel like it's Anne. And she died in 1536. Doesn't feel like it's Anne. It does not got Anne's energy to it. She'd have been spelling, wouldn't she? I'm joking. I'm joking. She wouldn't have been. Zip it. But what was he doing there actually? Talking about that. Don't miss the energies, Claire. Don't be stupid. I'm also seeing him being fascinated with the moon. There's a mysticism about Henry VIII. I know the bare basics of the man. I know a bit of his soul heritage, put it that way. But I don't know about this aspect of him. And it's making me see him in a totally different light. Ooh, that's sexist. He's interested when men are mystics, but if a woman's a mystic, that scares him. That's fascinating. Whilst he's walking around, shall we see if we can chat? So we'll just walk with him and see if we can bring his attention to the present, to the future. See if he wants to talk to us. It's weird that he stopped and it was like there's mist around him. And I was like looking at him dressed like this, and he turned around and it was like absolute. Because here is Claire with modern hair, modern makeup, modern smells, scents, energy. And it was like this mist. It's like this fog around, there's a fog around us. And I'm being told that's for protection. The fog that's been placed around us is for protection. So why are you here, Henry? King Henry? He's saying he's fascinated. He's telling me that he feels lost, that he's caught up in a whirlwind, that he's looking for answers. He's telling me he's having really bad headaches. There's a pressure on him. He's saying that there has to be more to life than this. There's a real sadness about him. There's a real sadness about him. There's also a dread. This is a strange one, because it feels like the Henry that I'm talking about also knows what's coming in the future for him. And it's almost like part of him's trying to change it. I'm going really cold at this point. He's saying that a lot of ancient sites are losing their magic, or he's staying somewhere nearby. There's a castle. see if he wants to give us a card. Oh, something's just coming to my mind. I might be... Let me just sit with it before I start on camera. I'm wondering if Anne had a past life there. Give me a card. Henry, please give me a card. The Three of Trees. The Three of Trees. The Four of Trees. Something. I know this deck is a predominantly female deck, but there's something about women. I think he's had a past life where he's been at Stonehenge, not as King Henry VIII, but as a normal everyday person, and something has been done to him. He's been cursed. He's been cursed. And he's trying to get back, he's trying to make sense of it and understand it himself. And I'm wondering if it was women that did it, which is why, and it could also be that Anne was one of the women that did it, and that he's trying to get back to heal that. I want to read these because this is a nice deck. You always can tell a good deck because the book's a decent book. So we've got Four of Trees. Just give me a minute to try and find the write-up. Four of Trees. That's Five of Trees. Right. Oh no, I thought it was missing then. There is a Scottish folk magic practice called seinin, from the Gaelic word seum, meaning a charm. Involving burning boughs of juniper or rowan to create clouds of smoke for ritual purposes. Fog. These ceremonies also involve symbolic gestures and spoken charms. Often the purpose of these rituals is protective, to safeguard and purify homes and livestock. And from the days of our tribal ancestors, we have strewn herbs upon the fire to soothe and heal. Also, invocation of spirits and visions. Divinatory meaning. In the gathering dusk, she scatters handfuls of her stored herbs upon the flames, and as the smoke wreathes and swirls, she waits to meet the spirits that form. Who will come tonight? Her mother, the great mother, can't even pronounce that, or guardian spirits of the land. Perhaps all will visit here in the smoke of visions. Fire is the element of the suit of trees, but in the four we see different elements begin to dance together. The flame consumes the dried plant matter grown in the earth and transforms into the sinuous smoke, weaving shapes in the air. In certain moments, by arrangement or accident, the right elements come together and magic happens. The Four of Trees may speak of a gathering where the alchemy of human interaction will make sparks of connection fly, souls reach out and interweave, or it may be that the connections are made within us as we reignite parts of ourselves that had grown dark towards and become more whole. Oh my God, when I said to you there's a fog around us and it's there for protection, I think he was spelled in a past life, Henry, and I think that explains why so many people say, and this may be true of a lot of people, that God, they were such a lovely person, but then happened, and how we ended up getting in such a mess with Anne. You know, people were convinced she was into witchcraft. I don't know that. Maybe that's another video we need to look at. But I'm picking up something that goes way, way, way back. And it's 12:12 on my phone. So what was the other one? Three of Trees, Four of Trees, Three of Trees. We move now from the Rowan to the beach, another of the sacred trees of Celtic magic. The painting of this card was inspired by the verse poetry from Mabinogion Welsh Books of Celtic Lore. When the beach prospers through litanies and spells, the oak tops entangle. There is hope for trees from the Cadgado, the Battle of Trees, 13th century. The beech is known as the mother of the woods. She is queen to the oaks. She is queen to the oak tree's king. Her broad canopy offers protection, and scattered beech nuts give nourishment to many woodland creatures. The beech also represents wisdom and memory. The first books were made from thin slivers of beech wood bound together. And I've got 5 of trees as well. How bizarre. 3 of trees, 4 of trees, and 5 of trees. And that looks a little bit like where Stonehenge, isn't it? I thought that was sheep then. No, it's not. And that looks like a bit. But we've got a woman with a shepherd's crook. Can I have another card from here, please, Henry? Can I have another card from here? And then we'll let you go. Because it feels like it's still part of his soul that's healing, and then maybe we've just come across him whilst we've been there. So let me just one more card and then we will let you go. Serenus. I always get that wrong. Life force. Express your driving passion. Sensual and God, what is going on? Express your driving passion. Sensual and sexual powers are increased. And Serapis Bay. Ascension, move into your true self, rise above the darkness, the light is here. So this is also about him rising above the darkness, light is here, but it's also about us as well. Now where can I put that book? Very, very interesting. So let me just see if there's anything else to get from this and we will close it down. What I will do is, rather than us just stepping back, I'm going to see if we can help to move Henry on in a shamanic way, okay, rather than just leaving it open. Done it. Open the portal. He was guided through. Then the rain came to cleanse and to release whatever needed to be released at that time. Okay, so moving. I don't even know where we were when we bumped into him. Anyway, let's move on to something else. So we know that it's also a place now where many people have been damaged by it. Many people have received healing there, but they've also received not so good stuff from there. And many souls wanting to reach back and go back to that place. And it feels that this isn't going to be an easy, simple journey. It's going to take many, many years. Much self-reflection to us as human beings. Can I see the future? Let's go to the future of Stonehenge. Should we go to the future of Stonehenge? The future. There's some form of weather damage coming to it. I don't know if some of the stones fall, but they need to call people in to rectify it. But the people that they call in are some of the original people that were behind it. And when they start to rebuild it, they start to reignite those energies with it. And I'm getting the numbers 2035, so 2035. Humanity's not ready yet for those energies to come back on grid. But if you feel you are ready, you can start to connect into them. in a safe manner if you go there, if you just journey there or meditate there. It's fascinating because I was expecting to see it getting rebuilt, but it doesn't. It stays as it is. It stays as it is. I'm seeing that the earth is going to start to change a lot via earthquakes and shifts in the planes and stuff. This is over time, it's nothing to be scared about. Humanity's in for an interesting, transformative, but a scary, not a scary future, a future of unsurety. But in the unsurety is where the inner strength comes from, if that makes sense. And so is the planet. To actually get through everything a lot easier, not quicker, not trying to bypass it, but to get through life's ups and downs, global difficulties, it's really important to keep checking in with ourselves, to keep sitting back into the heart space. And many of us have been shown great fear or experienced fear in order to learn that fear is a feeling and that we can find ways to overcome it. And the best way to deal with the world as it is to try to see it from a higher perspective. That there is life ever after. That even if something does happen where you do lose your life, either an environmental war or just passing over, transition, that you can come through it. What video have I done this week or last week where I said that we all knew that we were coming here for this? And it's about re-remembering of why we came here. Before we incarnated, the souls that incarnated now and in the future were shown, this is what the world's going to look like. This is what you're going to deal with. Governments, environment, society, generational bloodlines collapsing, all of this, everything you were shown, we were shown. And we said, okay, we see it, we'll still go down, and we must re-remember that, because many, including myself, have gone into fear of various things during our lifetime, and we've forgotten that we knew we didn't come here for an easy ride. We came here to be part of a change, and that's not from an ego, because I don't do that. I'm a light worker here to save the world shite. I don't do that kind of stuff on this channel because I think that's toxic, but because everyone that comes to the planet is playing their role. I'm seeing codes in the stones as well. That's interesting as well. I'm going to get controversial now. A lot of people are worried that they're having reactions to things like this, phones and stuff and maths. What I'm hearing is, it's actually not. It's actually a lot of these, because I said they're not just famous spaces, it's the trees are coming back on grid, and it's causing us to feel like this. Now you can take that or you can leave it, but that's what I'm being shown. That again, going into that energy is actually going into fear. That, I'm sat there next to Ruta. It's on Metatron's cube now, but not going into fear with it. A lot of the reason, obviously at this time, if you've got any concerns medically, you do need to go see a doctor. I have to say that for legal reasons. One of the reasons why lots of people are feeling tired at this time and sleeping a lot is because they're receiving huge upgrades. And something's going on with my head at the minute. It's like somebody's touching my head, and they're receiving huge upgrades. The fuzzy head energy is because a lot of their memories have been rejigged. A lot of the chaos and noise from our heads is being removed. I can relate to this because shamanically I was trained that when we've done a client we get it wiped, which is why if you've had a session with me I'll look at you quite vague if you book in 6 months afterwards, because I'll remember some of it, like literally if it pings out at me, but a lot of it I'll be like, can you re-remind me, because otherwise we take it on. And it's the same with life, that we can take too much on. We've got too much chatter. A lot of the sensitivities that we've got now is nothing to be scared of. We're not being poisoned. That energy that's out there now. It's something much more deeper than that. And we just have to love ourselves. Keep it simple, love. We just have to love ourselves going through it and be gentle with ourselves and not go into fear. If you're eating something or whatever and it's just affecting you, nurture yourself through it. Step back from it for a bit. The human body is going down spiraling here. The human body is going through so much at this time. You see, Stonehenge is at the centre of it all, I think. I really do. The wisdom, I mean, I could go on with this video for hours. I appreciate you have a busy life, but there could be more that comes from this, and there probably will be in future videos. But the wisdom that's coming from those stones, it's almost like I'm getting downloads from them. Really connected. You know, I can imagine if people live there or go on holiday there, and next time I visit there I'll be a different person and I'll be more grounded than what I was when I went in 21. And I'll understand, because you know, the longer you do this job that I do, the better you get at dealing with energies, and the more experience you get and the more you can balance them better. I'm getting that the stones are there to help people. Many people fear the stones and the power of the stones. But at the same time, many people also fear the light and the power of the light. That the stones are there for comfort. That you can connect into the stones wherever you are in the world. So I am in Lincolnshire right now, and I'm connecting into Stonehenge. So even if you're abroad, if you're in the States, if you're in Oz, New Zealand, Pakistan, India, wherever, you can connect and regular practice. And one of the things I'm getting is you can do it where you can stand in a field and look, because remember what we've said, don't push yourself. Many people are struggling on their path because they're pushing themselves. Take a step back, so you can put 5 fields between you and the stones. Don't think, well, the stones are really good so I can just walk through into the middle of them. It can be too much. It can be really too much. And I am hearing that it is causing mental disorders in some people. You get people that awaken too quickly and they get, poof, the chakras blow open, and there's mental disorders that come from that. So be very, very respectful of it and respectful of your own boundaries. And you'll enjoy it and you'll get more from it, because I've done it where I push myself and it just knocks you flat on your back. Anyway, so connecting to them via meditation, reading about them, being open to all stories about them because it feels like it all played a part. You can also connect into the stones if you're ill, so if you're in pain. Don't visualise yourself in the middle of the stones if you're not used to that kind of stuff, but just, again, put yourself in a field where you want. You can even actually make your own field up, I'm getting. So you know, like I've done the garden thing where I said for people that suffer from anxiety, imagine a garden within your heart. Your ornaments, your flowers, the streams, the birds, fill it with what you need. And whenever you have that panic attack, you can imagine yourself in that garden in the middle of Tesco's. It works. You can have a field that's near Stonehenge or Tor, and it's your field, and you can just imagine it, and that's your safe space. So if you're stressed, you're tired, you want some comfort, you imagine it, and you go there and you receive the energy from the stones. It can help with healing. See, all these different things that you can do for yourself without cost, without travel, without putting yourself out. They're all tools at the tips of our fingers. So final card, because again, to spend too much time here can be too much. Parting card from each deck, please. Well, wait until I share this video, because I'll share it on my community tab on my Roll Tarot, and we'll see if they like it. Six of Waters. The Queen of Elfame. Many people, yeah, that looks like, no, it's no, I thought it looked like, all I saw was the pearl pendant, and I noticed, God, that looks like Amberlynn. She's been there in a past life as Anne. I'm getting, don't go royal again, but it is what it is. The Elizabethan dress. I wonder if Elizabeth went there as well. Elizabeth I. I'm getting that as well. There's a reason why people are so drawn to certain historical figures. You may see them as an incarnation, as a queen or an actor or whatever, or a king or a prince, but they've also been other things. There's this, it's just all connected somehow. But Elizabeth I has been there as well. Taking it away from that, the energy of how many people are feeling now on their path. They're feeling battered and bruised, especially if you're dealing with people that are still in pain and trauma and judgment and not wanting to help themselves or wanting to judge you or bring you down. There is a lot of that out there at the minute, and these people are working in very different ways, shapes and forms. We've got to understand that there's an energy working through them as well, and it literally can feel like that at the time. That you feel like, you know, when you've got like asleep with dark eyes, but actually this is the making of us. It feels like it's a test, because past incarnations as a species we've gone, sod it, I'm not going to do it, I can't take this on anymore, I can't deal with it, or you've gone into the dark yourself. So these are tests that come in. Final card from this deck for this reading. Holy Amethyst, Divine Alchemy. Move beyond current challenges, focus on what you desire. And the Cloak of Wisdom, you already know the answer you seek, trust what you know. What was I saying earlier about the answer is within? I know it's cliched, I know it's cheesy, but the truth is you can go to as many people as you want, watch as many videos as you want, but the answer, you just need to switch it on, you need to listen. And I think one of the biggest issues we've got at the minute is we don't want to hear it, because actually that inner voice, not intuition, it's bigger than intuition. It's tough love energy, and a lot of people cannot deal with tough love at the minute. They just can't deal with it. They need external help, external gratification. They need to be told what they need to hear. If they're told something slightly off kilter, it's an explosion. So yes, hope you have enjoyed today's video and have got something out of it for yourself and your healing journey. And we will do this video with another sacred space again in the future. Anything else? Like, comment and subscribe for more content. Thank you for all the support, the well wishes, the comments, the support, the energetic support, emails. Thank you for all the super thanks. Thank you for donations. Thank you for booking in. Thank you for helping this channel to grow. I don't thank people enough, do I? But I do send energetic thanks out. And I think that's it. Oh, before I go, 7th and 8th of Feb is the next group healing. The father wound. More information about that is below in the description box and the pinned comment. Scroll down a little bit. It'll say next group healing, father wound. Watch this video for more information. If you're new to my channel and you've never done a group healing before, watch that before you even think of emailing me and saying to me, what does it entail? Because I will send you that video. And to take part in that, you just a little bit underneath and it takes you straight to it. So it'll take you straight to the group healing, and it's £22. If you go further than that, it's fine, don't panic. You'll go straight to the website, homepage, services, group healing. And all my social media is down below. My Instagram, my Facebook, my TikTok, website for sessions, distance work, and my other YouTube channels. The links are below. There is the Thackeray's, which is about vlogs and feel good and books, and there's a book club coming on there in February, music club, daily vlogs, weekend vlogs, holiday vlogs, natters where we have discussions on certain things going on in the world. And there is also CT's Royal Tarot, which is the royal readings, which have now gone from this channel into that. Okay, so thanks for watching, and there's royal channelings on there now. So thanks for watching, lots of love, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.